It's longer, its casts don't have any kind of arc. Most of the characters don't even do anything interesting and important besides being plot devices. It has a terribly rushed ending with many characters just being shoehorned in and many more problems. But it has something none of the other 5 singularities have. That's right, it's the Chad, the hot, the bad-tempered tomboy herself. It's Mordred. If you couldn't tell already, I love Mordred. I loved her ever since I watched Apocrypha, and seeing her anywhere is enough to bring a smile to my avatar's face. And not mine, I can't do that without having a face, you know, being a giant broken moon and all. Or can but just won't in case I have changed my profile at the time you're watching this video. While Mordred doesn't exactly have an arc per se, she has solid characterization and chemistry with the other cast members. Her friendship with Fran is cute since she feels a sense of fellowship with her, being an artificial creation and all. And when you put mashed potato beside them, they almost have a cute sisterly bond to them. I also like most of Mordred's dialogues and think they're quite insightful and cute. Like seriously, she once says the reason she is in London is because she can't let anyone other than herself stop Britain and Londonium. Now here's an interesting motivation, self-insert Kun and Kohai Kun and garbage dumpster observatory member Kuns. And while Anderson, Shakespeare, Jack, Hohenheim, Mephistopheles, oh wait, Mephistopheles sucks, he's just a clown character, scratch that, I hate that trope. And this one isn't even a good one. And Henry, definitely not calling him that because I can't pronounce his surname, aren't bad characters, they're still just there. They don't have much to do or something interesting to say. Anderson shit talking everyone is cool though, I give him that. Also, Babbage is a giant steam mech pilot. Cool, I guess? Too bad it's also not explored at all. The most important plot point we get in London is Solomon showing up and give a generically evil speech. I mean, start roasting humans and tell us how much he hates humanity and how despicable he thinks they are, which soon enough gets retconned into being just bullshit in the first 2 events Edmund is in. Thanks Fate Go, and then tell the characters how despicable he thinks they are and then f***s off laughing maniacally and saying Chaldea can't do shit about the incineration of humanity, which is our first sign that Chaldea surely will do shit about the incineration of humanity. When villains tell the crew they can't win, that's the first sign they have already won. Overall, Solomon exists. It's going to take a long time for us to get what exactly his shtick is, and this introduction is practically unimportant after most of what he says is revealed to be a lie. Oh, you just wait until I get to your stupid hentai monster factory. Also, London's ending is messy as hell. Like, really messy. Like, even more messy than before. It just randomly throws in Lance to Realtor, Tesla, Sakata, and into the story, with the latter 3 having almost no reason to be here. And Lance the Realtor is just there because Mordred. That's probably the part I least like about Mordred in this singularity. Like, you know you don't need to throw in a 5-minute conflict that soon gets resolved with no room to breathe, right? Also, Lance the Realtor isn't exactly Mordred's dad, so including her here is practically pointless. Unless you were just after cheap drama. You had this coming when you decided to make 16 different versions of the same character, almost half of which are different people. If you ever cared about resolving the case between Mordred and Saber, which I prefer if you didn't ever do because that would rob their tragedy of its impact, not everything always has the second chance of being fixed. Foreshadowing. But even if you ever did, please do it right and don't half-ass it or f it up like you just randomly treated it like a one-time use toilet paper here. Easter eggs are fun and all, but randomly throwing in unrelated servants that are not going to be anything important but a waste of time and a desire to make more Pokemons isn't something I can easily just say, what's the big deal? B tier. Yes, Mordred alone takes it this high. I mean, just look at this little cutie. She makes every bland garbage she's in fun. Oh, America, if you just knew how much I despise you. The singularity, I mean, not the country. We don't spread political hatred here. By the way, has anyone seen my super mega ultra giga chat cute adorable avatar's super suit? She seems to want to rip apart the culmination of every US president, since he sucks ass. I, for the hate of God, can't fathom what the hell was going on in the mind of whoever wrote this. Is America supposed to be some kind of big epic battle kind of story like an Avengers movie? Well, if it is, good job! Because they did manage to make something as bland as those, so I'd say it's a win. Seriously, the whole damn point of an epic battle is for it to be between well set up characters and factions with deep relationships. This is too short to be an epic war story and too long for this bullshit to be bearable. It has the biggest cast of characters thus far, and it's more than 5 hours of practically nothing happening other than new characters coming, new characters dying, rinse and repeat. What even turns this singularity into an slightly above pure mess travesty is Nightingale's antics and a bit of Robin's presence. But unlike the previous singularities that their standout characters had more screen time to shine, here the cast is so bloated and characters come and go so swiftly and plot points shift so quickly that these two can't even carry this arc very well. It also doesn't help that Robin's character here is much more safe and just there than his extra depiction, which had an entire week just to himself and his master. Here you don't get anything from Robin other than his surface level cynicism and underhanded tactics here and there. And this time his behavior doesn't cause any friction between anyone either. Thanks! You just made half the point of Robin an extra, a non-factor. An interesting aspect of his character was seeing how he plays off of different characters' personalities because of his reputation and backstory. Here, all of that is condensed into just being a quirk. And Nightingale's shtick gets old too quickly to be able to carry the entire story. FGO doesn't have any shortage of stupid comedic character relationships, but here, it's getting too tiresome. Nero has nothing to do here besides being a quote-unquote rival to Elizabeth, whom I already said why I don't like. It's sad how Nero went from being the face of Extra to a clown whose character centers around her rivalry with a barely related character in America. A rivalry which I can barely even take seriously. What the hell is barely doing in my script? I can't take it seriously at all. Just because both are self-centered and attention-craving doesn't mean you should make a whole shallow dynamic out of this trait and make it the entire depth of their part in a singularity. Lolina Blavatsky and Edison are the worst characters here since their whole plan and actions are just stupid prior to them joining the crew. Seriously, what Edison is doing is institutional slavery for all we know. This idiot is just doing stuff without knowing what the hell he's doing. I know it's most likely because of getting across the point that he should stop treating only his own nation and abandoning everything else, but that doesn't mean it's well done. It only makes Edison come off as a mindless buffoon rather than a competent leader, which begs the question, why anyone even follows him? Karna's reason was vague and useless, and Lolina's is because we were best buds or whatever in life. Edison is around 20 people who were supposedly at least competent, besides one I know certainly wasn't. But here he's an idiot who needs to be taught what to do by self-insert Kun. Seriously, at least half of the US presidents in history were competent, right? And it doesn't help that self-insert Kun isn't a character to be saying anything to him. This guy is exploiting people because he doesn't know any other way to manage his country. That screams incompetence. And Lolina here is just his lapdog. Her entire character is following him because they're friends and she trusts All Might. I mean the roaring lion old movie guy just on that basis. Well, too bad, we don't get anything about their relationship other than surface level stuff. So I guess it's their problem that their relationship is poorly written, not mine. Because it's only their relationship. not something we as the audience care about. It's practically a worthless motive. Also, no, I don't like it that Geronimo is helping mother flipping Americans. Some characters shouldn't just randomly get along with each other. Stop this globalist propaganda nonsense, that's not what people do. And that's not what good characters do either. You would expect a change to come gradually, but Geronimo has just already sorted out his problems with America, and surprise surprise, his reason for helping them is generic as hell. Don't you just love it when the story is filled to the brim with shallow characters with 5 minutes story importance and character exploration? Okay, that ends self-insert Coon's party. There are some pseudo-neutral characters like Lee and Ska. Purple bodysuit hot lady, who are there as well, but the former barely has anything going for him other than the basics of his character, the I like fighting shtick, and purple bodysuit hot lady barely has anything going for her in the singularity, and she's also barely in any Fate story other than Fate Go, which just makes her a very sad case of wasted potential, since she's being treated as just a shallow hot warrior lady trope. And the Pokemon. Seriously, for the mentor of one of the original 7 servants, you'd expect her to have more of a character than being hot, liking fights, and having been unable to die, which is supposed to be a source of great character drama and potential, but now they just barely explore or even touch upon it. I mean, just imagine them actually killing purple bodysuit hot lady. Yeah, right. No way. They'd get a worse backlash than Doyle did for offing Sherlock. Wait, is that why her death in America is also a fake out death? And then there's the villains. Okay, Fergus, Diarmuid, and Fionn suck. They're there. They don't do anything important. Also, Diarmuid in America is what Diarmuid haters pretend Diarmuid is. And then there's the main antagonist duo. Maeve's a bitch. That's it. That's her entire character. She is a rider who rides men and really likes doing so. Also, she really seems to want to ride Ku. At least Solomon was mysterious and presented an interesting challenge. Maeve? She's just pissed Ku wasn't her all-time private premium buddy. The best thing about this character are only her dojins. Ku Alter isn't exactly bad. He has some interesting dialogues, and seeing his potential as a servant and how OP he actually can be was interesting. Too bad he has nothing to do but suffer in this abysmal story and just be there as a promising but wasted character. D tier. Sclane. Now what? You forgot Arjuna and Karna. They're Arjuna and Karna? The Hindu servants have nothing to do in America. Arjuna is uninteresting and shallow as hell here, and Karna already has appeared in other Fate material with much better depictions. There's nothing to say about them. And at the end of the day, that's a big part of what makes these whatevers so annoying and flawed. There's nothing to say about them. They're generic and uninteresting and barely resemble an actual story, much less a Fate story of all things. And when I think of Fate, what I don't think of is generic. I hope Type Moon isn't planning on changing that. The earlier Fate Go stories weren't well thought out at all, and it shows, and stinks like rotten cheese and spoiled milk. There's much to expand and explore in these stories. But on Fitcasts, short time spans and shallow writing didn't help them in that front. Fortunately, the first 2 problems seem to have been mostly solved from this point on. What's left to be seen is whether or not the last part is fixed or not. Let's wait and hope. God, if I get my hands on whoever gave Nasu the idea of turning Fate into a cash cow, I'll make an Elizabeth bathtub out of them. It's obviously a joke.